I'm going to show you exactly how to identify diamonds, emeralds, and rubies in their natural state, even when they look nothing like the sparkling gems you see in jewelry stores. Today, you'll learn the telltale signs you should look for that separate million-dollar finds from worthless rocks. Plus, I'll reveal the simple household tests that can confirm your discoveries before you spend a dime on professional evaluation. Here's what most people don't know. You could be walking past valuable gems every single day without recognizing them. Wait until you see the shocking difference between what gems actually look like in nature versus what you think they should look like. But before we dive in, if you're serious about finding diamonds and other precious stones, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon, because we share advanced prospecting techniques every week that most hunters never learn. All right, let's get started. Let me start with a reality check that's going to save you years of disappointment. Unlike what most people think, finding precious stones isn't about spotting brilliant, cut gems sparkling in creek beds. That's the biggest misconception that keeps beginners searching in all the wrong places with completely unrealistic expectations. Here's the truth professional prospectors know. Natural diamonds look like greasy glass pebbles. Raw emeralds appear as dull green chunks embedded in ugly host rock. Uncut rubies resemble dark red gravel that you'd probably kick aside without a second thought. The secret is learning to see past these deceptive appearances to identify the valuable characteristics that matter. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While Hollywood has convinced us that gems are rare treasures hidden in exotic locations, the reality is far more accessible. Professional miners know that valuable stones are found in predictable geological formations that exist in many areas across North America. But there's something even more important. You don't need expensive equipment or special permits to start your search. Before you find your first genuine gemstone, you need to understand the geological story. Precious stones form under specific conditions of heat, pressure, and chemical composition that create distinct patterns in the landscape. The telltale sign that you're in the right area isn't mysterious. It's scientific and learnable. Diamonds form deep in the Earth's mantle and reach the surface through volcanic pipes called kimberlites. That's why you should focus your diamond searches near ancient volcanic activity, rather than randomly searching riverbeds. Emeralds form in metamorphic environments, where beryllium-rich fluids interact with chromium or vanadium-bearing rocks. Rubies and sapphires crystallize in metamorphic and igneous environments, rich in aluminum oxide. This is the technique that changed everything for me. Instead of hoping to stumble across gems, I learned to read the landscape like a geological map. The secret is recognizing indicator minerals that signal the presence of gem-forming conditions. These companion stones are often more visible than the gems themselves and act as your geological GPS system. But does that mean you can find these gems anywhere? Absolutely not. Here's the part that surprises most people. Location is everything. But the right locations are more common than you think. You just need to know what geological signatures to look for, and I'll show you exactly how to identify these promising areas using simple visual clues that don't require a geology degree. Before you start your search, you need to manage your expectations realistically. Finding gem-quality stones isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires patience, persistence, and proper technique. But here's what experienced prospectors understand. The learning process itself is rewarding. And even industrial-grade finds can be valuable for collectors and educational purposes. The most important thing to understand is that success in gem hunting isn't about luck. It's about systematically applying proven identification and location techniques. That's how you'll dramatically increase your odds of making genuine discoveries, rather than wasting time on fool's gold and worthless lookalikes. Progressive Education Layer 1. Visual Identification. First, you have to retrain your eyes to see gems as nature created them, not as jewelry stores display them. All you have to do is learn 3 key visual characteristics that never lie: luster, hardness indicators, and crystal habits. Let's start with diamonds. Natural diamonds have what's called adamantine luster, an almost metallic brilliance that's unmistakable once you know what to look for. The secret is that even dirty, uncut diamonds still show this distinctive shine on fresh crystal faces. They appear greasy or wet-looking even when completely dry. Unlike what most people think, diamonds in nature are rarely colorless. Most are yellow, brown, or gray, with a characteristic diamond skin, a dull, sometimes frosted surface that hides the brilliant interior. Now, here's where it gets interesting with emeralds. Raw emeralds display vitreous luster, like broken glass, but with a distinctive green that's deeper and more saturated than any other natural green stone. Professional prospectors know that true emeralds show hexagonal crystal faces when well formed, and they're almost always embedded in their host rock, rather than found as loose stones. For rubies and sapphires, which are the same mineral, corundum, just different colors, look for exceptional hardness combined with high specific gravity. They feel noticeably heavy for their size and display what geologists call adamantine to vitreous luster. The telltale sign that you've found real corundum is the combination of extreme hardness, 9 on the Mohs scale, with that distinctive metallic to glassy shine. Here's what most people don't know. Color is often the least reliable indicator for beginners. Focus on crystal shape, luster, and weight first. But there's something even more important. Learn to recognize the common imposters that fool novice prospectors every single time. The most common mistake beginners make is confusing quartz varieties for precious gems. Clear quartz can mimic diamonds, green aventurine can look like emeralds, and red jasper resembles rubies. That's why you should always verify luster and hardness before getting excited about any find. Progressive Education Layer 2. Location Strategy. I'm going to show you exactly how to read the landscape for geological clues that indicate gem-bearing formations. This is the technique that separates successful prospectors from weekend rockhounds who never find anything valuable. For diamond hunting, focus on areas with kimberlite pipes or lamproite intrusions. In practical terms, look for circular or oval-shaped geological formations that disrupt the surrounding rock patterns. These appear as different colored soil or vegetation patterns, visible even from ground level. The secret is that kimberlite weathers differently than surrounding rocks, often creating distinctive reddish or yellowish soil patches. In the United States, the most accessible diamond location is Crater of Diamond State Park in Arkansas. But similar geological formations exist in Colorado, Wyoming, and Montana. Professional miners know that alluvial deposits downstream from these formations can contain diamonds that have eroded out over thousands of years. For emerald prospecting, target areas with metamorphic rocks, especially mica schist and gneiss formations. The telltale signs you should look for include visible mica flakes, quartz veins, and pegmatite dikes cutting through darker metamorphic rocks. Here's what experienced prospectors understand. Emeralds almost never occur alone. Look for beryl crystals, biotite mica, and pyrite as indicator minerals. North Carolina's Emerald Belt provides the best accessible locations in the U.S., but similar formations exist in Montana, Nevada, and parts of New England. Unlike what most people think, you don't need to dig deep shafts. Surface exposures along road cuts and creek beds often reveal emerald-bearing zones. For ruby and sapphire hunting, focus on areas with igneous intrusions cutting through metamorphic rocks. All you have to do is look for contact zones where different rock types meet. These boundaries create the specific pressure and temperature conditions that form corundum crystals. Montana's Yogo Gulch and North Carolina's Franklin area offer the best public access, but similar geological conditions exist throughout the Appalachian Mountains and Rocky Mountain regions. The secret is that sapphires and rubies often concentrate in placer deposits where heavy minerals collect naturally. Before you head to any location, research local regulations and obtain necessary permissions. Professional prospectors know that respecting property rights and environmental regulations ensures continued access for everyone. Progressive education layer. 3. Practical methods. Now here's where it gets interesting. I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step process that experienced prospectors use to systematically search for and extract precious stones without expensive equipment. First, you have to master the basic tools that cost less than $50 total. All you need is a good geology pick, a small shovel, a classifier or kitchen strainer, a magnifying glass, a hardness testing kit, and a few sturdy containers. Professional miners know that technique matters more than expensive equipment. The fundamental technique is called systematic sampling. Here's how it works. Instead of randomly digging holes, you create a grid pattern over promising areas and test each grid square methodically. Start with surface reconnaissance. Walk the area slowly, examining every exposed rock face, creek bed, and erosion cut. The secret is that gems often concentrate in specific zones rather than being randomly distributed. For creek bed sampling, focus on inside bends where heavy minerals naturally concentrate. The telltale sign that you're in the right spot is the presence of other heavy minerals like magnetite, hematite, or garnet. These indicator minerals are much more common than gems, but form under similar conditions and concentrate in the same locations. Here's the technique professional prospectors use: the heavy mineral separation method. Fill your classifier with creek sediment, then shake it underwater with a circular motion. The physics is simple. Heavy minerals, including gems, settle to the bottom, while lighter materials wash away. This is exactly how commercial miners concentrate valuable materials before detailed examination. For hard rock prospecting, you'll need to break apart potential host rocks carefully. The secret is that gems are often embedded in softer surrounding minerals that can be removed with patient work. Never use a hammer directly on potential gems. This is the fastest way to destroy valuable finds. Instead, use your pick to carefully separate host rock along natural fracture lines. When you find a potential gem, resist the urge to immediately extract it. Professional prospectors know that documenting the find location and surrounding geology is crucial for understanding the broader deposit. Take photos, note GPS coordinates, and record associated minerals before extraction. The proper extraction technique involves gradual exposure using small tools. Start by clearing away loose material with a soft brush. Then, use a dental pick or small screwdriver to carefully separate the specimen from its matrix. The most important rule: work slowly and patiently. Rushing this process destroys more potential discoveries than any other factor. For specimen preparation, clean finds gently with water and a soft toothbrush. Avoid harsh chemicals or aggressive scrubbing that can damage crystal faces. The goal is to reveal enough of the specimen to enable proper identification while preserving its natural state. Here's what most people don't know. Proper documentation increases the value of any find significantly. Professional collectors and museums pay premium prices for specimens with complete location and geological data. That's why you should always maintain detailed field notes, recording exact locations, associated minerals, and geological context. Safety considerations are non-negotiable. Always inform someone of your prospecting plans, carry first aid supplies, and never prospect alone in remote areas. The most dangerous mistake beginners make is inadequate preparation for changing weather conditions and difficult terrain. Progressive Education Layer 4. Advanced Recognition. This is where most beginners fail. They find the right minerals, but can't distinguish gem-quality specimens from industrial-grade material. I'm going to show you exactly how professional evaluators make this crucial distinction using techniques you can master at home. The first advanced technique is crystal habit analysis. Professional gemologists know that valuable gems display specific crystal forms that indicate quality and formation conditions. For diamonds, look for octahedral, 8-sided, or dodecahedral, 12-sided crystal faces. The secret is that well-formed crystal faces indicate slow, stable formation conditions that typically produce higher quality stones. Gem-quality diamonds show sharp, lustrous crystal faces with minimal surface etching or corrosion. Industrial diamonds typically display more rounded, corroded surfaces with heavy pitting or surface damage. The telltale sign that distinguishes them is the clarity and sharpness of natural crystal faces. For emeralds, quality assessment focuses on color saturation and clarity. True gem-quality emeralds display what gemologists call emerald green, a pure, intense green without yellow or blue secondary hues. The most important factor is the stone's ability to transmit light evenly without dark dead spots or excessive cloudiness. Here's what experienced dealers look for: the garden inside emeralds. These internal inclusions actually help verify authenticity, but their type and distribution determine value. Acceptable inclusions include small crystals, growth lines, and minor fractures. Value-destroying flaws include large dark crystals, extensive fracturing, or opaque zones that block light transmission. Ruby and sapphire quality assessment requires understanding color, clarity, and phenomenon effects. For rubies, the finest specimens display what's called pigeon blood red, a pure red with slight blue undertones and strong fluorescence under ultraviolet light. Professional buyers know that natural rubies almost always contain silk-like inclusions, called rutile needles, that create a subtle sheen. The most valuable sapphires show phenomenon effects like asterism, star effects, or color change properties. Star sapphires contain oriented rutile inclusions that create 4 or 6-ray stars when cut properly. The secret is that even rough star sapphires show hints of this effect when illuminated with a focused light source. Advanced hardness testing goes beyond simple scratch tests. Professional prospectors use a systematic approach, testing multiple crystal faces with calibrated hardness picks. The technique that separates experts from amateurs is understanding that hardness can vary on different crystal faces of the same stone due to directional crystal properties. Here's the advanced technique for specific gravity testing using household materials. All you need is a sensitive scale, a container of water, and fishing line or thin wire. The process is simple. Weigh the specimen in air, then suspend it in water. The calculation divides the air weight by the difference between air and water weights. Diamonds measure 3.5, emeralds 2.7, and rubies, sapphires 4.0. The most sophisticated field test involves observing optical properties using a simple penlight. Genuine diamonds show strong light refraction with rainbow fire effects, even in rough form. Natural emeralds display dichroism, appearing different shades of green when viewed from different angles. Rubies and sapphires show pleochroism, displaying multiple colors when rotated under light. Value assessment requires understanding size, quality, and market factors. Industrial-grade diamonds smaller than half a carat have minimal value unless exceptional quality. Emeralds require good color and clarity in sizes over 1 carat to justify professional cutting. Rubies and sapphires need good transparency and color saturation, with starstones being valuable in any size if the phenomenon is strong. The biggest mistake advanced beginners make is overestimating the quality of their finds. Professional evaluation often reveals that stones appearing gem quality in the field have fatal flaws, visible only under magnification and proper lighting. Climax and final reveal. Now, here's the part that surprises most people. I'm going to show you the complete home testing system that can confirm or eliminate 95% of potential finds without spending money on professional evaluation. This is the technique that changed everything for serious prospectors who were wasting time and money on worthless lookalikes. The comprehensive validation system uses 5 independent tests that work together to provide definitive identification. No single test proves authenticity, but when all 5 align, you can be confident in your discovery. Professional buyers use this same systematic approach before investing in expensive laboratory analysis. Test 1. The specific gravity water test. I showed you the basic technique earlier, but now we're adding precision. Using a digital kitchen scale, accurate to 0.1 grams, and distilled water at room temperature, you can determine specific gravity to within 2% accuracy. The secret is that this physical property cannot be faked or approximated by common substitutes. Authentic diamonds measure between 3.50 to 3.53 specific gravity. Any reading outside this range eliminates diamond as a possibility immediately. Natural emeralds range from 2.67 to 2.78. Rubies and sapphires from 3.95 to 4.10. These numbers don't lie. They're determined by atomic structure and crystal density. Test 2. Advanced hardness verification. Beyond simple scratch testing, use a systematic approach with calibrated hardness picks, available for under $20. The technique professionals use involves testing multiple crystal faces and observing how the material responds to pressure. Genuine diamonds cannot be scratched by anything with hardness below 10 on the Mohs scale. But here's what most people don't know. The way a diamond resists scratching is distinctive. Real diamonds show no deformation under maximum pressure from a 9 hardness pick, while diamond simulants may resist scratching, but show stress fractures or surface deformation. Test 3. Optical property analysis using household items. This is the technique that eliminates more false positives than any other method. All you need is a bright LED flashlight, a magnifying glass, and a white piece of paper. For diamond testing, focus the light through the stone onto white paper. Genuine diamonds create distinct rainbow patterns with sharp color separation due to high dispersion. The pattern is unmistakable. Distinct spectral colors arranged in precise bands rather than fuzzy rainbow effects common in glass or quartz. Emerald optical testing focuses on dichroism, the property of appearing different colors from different viewing angles. Rotate the stone under direct light while observing through a magnifying glass. Authentic emeralds shift between blue-green and yellow-green depending on viewing angle. Synthetic or substitute materials typically show consistent color from all angles. Test 4. Thermal conductivity assessment. Here's what experienced prospectors know. Diamonds conduct heat faster than any other gemstone. The simple test involves breathing on the stone and observing how quickly condensation disappears. Genuine diamonds clear instantly, while simulants remain fogged for several seconds. For emeralds, rubies, and sapphires, thermal conductivity testing involves careful heating and cooling observations. Natural stones heat and cool gradually and evenly, while synthetic materials often show rapid temperature changes or uneven heating patterns. Test 5. Inclusion pattern analysis. This is the most sophisticated test you can perform without professional equipment. Using a 10 by magnifying glass and bright LED light, examine internal structure patterns. Natural diamonds show distinctive growth patterns, carbon inclusions, and crystal irregularities that cannot be replicated synthetically. The secret is that these flaws actually prove authenticity rather than diminishing value for identification purposes. Natural emeralds display characteristic inclusion patterns called garden that look like moss or vegetation trapped inside the crystal. Synthetic emeralds typically show flux inclusions, bubble chains, or chevron patterns that are distinctively artificial. When all 5 tests align positively, you have strong evidence of an authentic find, worthy of professional evaluation. The success indicators you're looking for are consistent results across all tests, not just passing individual assessments. But here's the part that changes everything. Even stones that fail these tests may have value as mineral specimens, industrial materials, or educational pieces. Professional prospectors know that learning proper identification techniques is more valuable than any individual find. Let me be completely honest with you. Finding gem-quality precious stones isn't easy, but it's absolutely possible with the right knowledge and persistent application of these techniques. The difference between successful prospectors and disappointed beginners is systematic approach and realistic expectations. You now have the complete foundation that took me years to develop through trial, error, and learning from experienced miners. These aren't theoretical concepts. Every technique I've shared has been field tested in real prospecting conditions by professionals who depend on accurate results. Your immediate next steps should focus on practicing identification techniques with known samples before heading into the field. Visit local rock shops, mineral clubs, or geology departments to handle authentic specimens and develop your eye for quality indicators. This hands-on education is invaluable for building confidence in your identification abilities. For your first prospecting expedition, start with accessible public locations that have documented gem finds.